Hello, everyone. Welcome to DX Live. I'm Parz Sattva. I'm the creative writer of the group here at DX. And thank you for joining me for a bit of creative writing today. So we're going to do a warm-up exercise. Seed word generation, my favorite way to sort of get the juices flowing. So we'll do that. We'll come up with our list of words. We'll find our prompts. And from the prompt, we'll write a story. And then from that story, let's do a quick illustration, a little bit of a breathing exercise, shaking out at that point, and then we move into passive voice. And we're going to do a little bit of a presentation, nothing English class-ish, I hope. It's just going to be sort of short, show why we use it, show how we use it, and then we'll show an example as to how things can work within passive voice. And then after that, I think a little bit of a cool down exercise to sort of allow the brain cells to relax a little bit, because I think passive voice might be a little bit of a brain twister. We don't normally use it, consciously use it in speech, but we'll do that. So with all of that, let's first off, open our creative space. I like doing this using what I call the square breathing technique. So we breathe in for a certain number, and I like 5. Why not? And then we hold for that same number, 5, and then we're gonna release, exhale for 5, and then we hold that for 5. And then there's a big cleaning breath in, and then with a sigh, we breathe out. So let's do it together. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big breath in. And then with the sigh, I find it really helps to calm my mind, tell the world, for this next little bit, this is my time. I'm going to take some time to write. I'm going to think. I'm going to have some fun as I do this. Okay, so let's do our warm-up exercise. That's my seed word generation or germination. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first bring up onto the screen, in case anyone has not seen this before, what it is that I'm talking about. And let's get that shared. Okay, so we start off with a seed word. Now, the purpose of all this, before we actually dive into what exactly it is, sometimes it's hard to even come up with like prompt words, right? We're searching the internet, we're looking for prompt words, prompt images, something that's going to kind of get our creative juices flowing. So we can actually do it ourselves. And we do that by starting with just, a single word. And the word that you can always go to, you're always there, is I, right? You are always there. But you can pick any word, you can start with any one, and then you start to generate a list of words that relate to the one above. Okay, so I'm just going to show, so if I started with I, what might the next word be? Well, it could be me, because it's a synonym. It could be the visual organ, I, E-Y-E, because it's a homonym or sounds the same as I. It could be the start of a saying, I think, therefore I am. So you could type think. You could even put I think, therefore I am. All the words just in a row. And you can have a description. So like this is a capital I. So I could have capital. I could use it. I is the first letter in the word icon. So you could use icon. I is in a word, big. And then lastly, this is the you can't possibly paint yourself into a corner rule, guideline. I will mention we don't have rules in here. We have guidelines because they bend and break so much easier. You can just grab something that's totally unrelated. Like if your mind goes squirrel and you just want to type something that has no relation to the word above, you can, because this is your list and you don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to justify it. You can make stuff up. You can misspell it. It's all fine and good and dandy. So I'm just going to scroll down and show you a quick sample list that I've put together. So there's I, and then I chose the synonym, me, and then I added at the end for meet, at, attain, refrain, song, radio. You know, there's some rhymes in here. There's things that relate. There's, you know, old-timey. Is it a word? Is it not? I don't know. Does it matter? No. Calendar. Okay. And then we get the Mayan, and then Central America, right? So they got the two words that's just one underneath the other. We're just putting them one underneath the other because all we want is just a list of words at this point. And then the Center for the Performing Arts, because that's just the full list. Okay. And so we can do that. So I'm going to turn off the sharing here. And okay, so I'm going to do a brand new unique list right here. And I would like you to join me as we do this. So I'll just turn on my device and okay. Technology flowing. Okay, and I'm going to share my device, and here we go. Okay, good. So my seed word for the day. Now, I'm kind of just thinking here real quick. Sun is shining. It's a nice day. The days are actually getting a little bit cooler. I live in Chiang Mai and it has been just insanely hot. It's starting to cool down. So I am going to use, and this away just a little bit. I am going to use the word cooling because it just is. Okay, cooling. And I'm going to go with a word that rhymes. Spooling. Be nice if I would actually spell this correctly. There we go. Because I do like to have my words spelled correctly, but if you don't, it doesn't really matter. Spooling. I'm going to drop the ing, spool. Pool. It'd be lovely to have a pool. Why? Because it is refreshing. Oh, there's that ing again. Refreshing. What else is refreshing? Iced coffees are just lovely. Iced coffee. Coffee, but if I spill my coffee, it stains. And yeah, so I just go with that. It rhymes, rains. So let's go to, whoops, cloudy. The capital there. Let's get that. There we go. For anyone who's wondering, by the way, I'm using my iPad as my display device, and then I have a little keyboard that I use, a Bluetooth keyboard. Lovely little thing, great for when you want to go out and just like write. Yeah, you can just set up, and then you got your little keyboard in your lap, and off you go. Okay, cloudy. Cloudy. I'm gonna grab the word loud from inside of that. And what is loud? Well, concerts are loud. Concerts. The last concert I ever attended was a band called Rush. Rush requires speed. And Speed is a movie that stars Keanu Reeves. So let's just go ahead and put that in. And I don't know if I've spelled Reeves correctly. B. Reeves. B. Reeves. I think that's bereaved. Okay, we'll take that. Spell check to the rescue. Bereaved. I'm just gonna go in and go with weave, wave, and let's see now here. Stave, or stave to hold off, and so we'll put it in hold. Okay, so let's just use that list. Cooling, spooling, spool, pool, refreshing, iced coffee, stains, rains, cloudy, loud, concerts, rush, speed, reeves, bereaved, weave, wave, stave, and hold. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to grab 3 words. And if there's nothing in this list that works for you, you don't even have to use these. But this is just sort of to give you a little bit of a start in finding some words that you could use for writing a story. So I'm just going to, there we go, tab down until I'm on the next page. I am going to grab rains and, whoops, comma, and I'm going to grab concerts. And I'm going to grab weave. Why not? I have no idea how these are going to come together. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll that up. There we go. Okay, rains, concerts, and weave. Now, these are prompts, okay? Which means they do not actually have to show up in your story. There's no requirement that says they need to be there. This is just simply to get your mind going and saying, hey, I want to write something, not really sure what. Maybe there's a story within the interplay of the words rains, concerts, and weave. If you feel like challenging yourself, tuck one of your prompt words in there. If you really want to challenge yourself, tuck all 3 in there. And if you really, really, really want to challenge yourself, tuck them in order. So I'm not going to hold myself to anything right now. I just want to have my thoughts kind of focus in on rains, concerts, and weave. So there are times that I have gone to outdoor concerts, and when it rains, it's not so good. In fact, there was that whole thing in Woodstock back in the 60s, I think, maybe 70s, not sure. Woodstock, so there was an outdoor festival for 3 days, and basically it just rained the entire time. So maybe we can do some sort of story about the perspective of being in the rain during concerts, during a festival. And let's see, how are we going to get weave in there? Oh, how are we going to weave? Oh, what a tangled web we weave. A little bit of Shakespeare. Okay, here's I think what I'd like to do. So at the concert, we're going to be having a band playing, and they are going to be they're going to be singing lyrics that come from Shakespeare. Why not? And I want to have something dramatic happen when they sing the line, "Oh, what tangled webs we weave." And I'm not exactly sure of the quote. I'm just coming up, and if I wanted to look it up, I could go and Google it, but I'm not going to bother. But that's just the direction that we're going to take this story. So let's set the stage for having our hapless concert goer get rained upon. Okay. Let's see right here. So despite, whoops, that is interesting. There we go. Okay, I took too long, apparently. The iPad got impatient with me. So, despite the weatherman's warnings, get that changed. Weatherman's warnings. I decided to attend okay, if we're going to be singing Shakespeare, it doesn't necessarily have to be Woodstock. It can be anything. So let's have the oh, let's have Renaissance, the concert at a Renaissance fair. Why not? Intend the okay, Renaissance. Let's see if spelled rain. I'm gonna have to look this one up. I was hoping spell check was gonna come to my rescue, and I do want it spelled correctly. There we go. Renaissance. R-E-N. Okay, let's get the I out of there. A-I-S-S-A-N-C-E. C-E. Renaissance Fair. Okay, we'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. And fair and festival. For the entire weekend. I'd been looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it the entire year. Maybe this is just something this guy just lives for, or this person lives for, the entire year. And I wasn't going to miss it, no matter what. And I'm just having a hard time spelling today. Okay. Despite the weatherman's warnings, I decided to attend the Renaissance Fair and Festival for the entire weekend. I've been looking forward to it the entire year, and I wasn't going to miss it no matter what. I was especially, let's make sure we've got our person at the concert that night, especially looking forward to the quintet who transformed Shakespeare plays into epic ballads. Okay, so there we go. Now let's have sort of a okay, we've got it set up. Now let's have the person actually at the concert. Let's see now here. The crowd that night as the quintet, and we're going to make it capitalized because we are referring to the quintet, so it's proper now. As the quintet took the stage, was wrapped with tension and excitement. The skies, however, began to darken as they began to play. By the third song, light rain had started to fall. There we go. Equal sign fall, but the concert continued. Much to everyone's delight. It was when the band sang the line, "Oh, what tangled webs we weave." There you go. When the band sang the line, "Oh, what tangled webs we weave," that the thunder came crashing down. Thunder came crashing down, and security ended the show early. We trudged from the concert ground, disappointed. But when the lightning struck the stage, the empty stage, make sure no one gets hurt, we were all grateful that someone was looking out for help. Okay, so that's a decent story. Okay, so despite the weatherman's warnings, I decided to attend the Renaissance Fair and Festival for the entire weekend. I'd been looking forward to it the entire year, and I wasn't going to miss it no matter what. I was especially looking forward to the Quintain Quintet, who transformed Shakespearean plays into epic ballads. The crowd that night, as the quintet took the stage, was racked with tension and excitement. The skies, however, began to darken as they began to play. By the third song, a light rain had started to fall, but the concert continued, much to everyone's delight. It was when the band sang the line, "Oh, what tangled webs we weave," that the thunder came crashing down and security ended the show early. We trudged from the concert grounds disappointed, but when the lightning struck the empty stage, we were all grateful that someone was looking out for us all. Good. Lovely little story. I think that tells a nice tale, and there's enough details that have been put into here that we can now take this and turn it into a little bit of a illustration. So I'm just going to stop sharing real quick as I change my tools over. Here we go. Okay, so let's come back to the screen share. And we'll share via cable. Okay, good. So let's just do a quick illustration here. So we've got concert goers, we've got stage. I think the lightning would be a really nice thing to have. So first, I'm just going to make a stage, and I don't spend a lot of time with my. I'm just going to back that up a little bit. Let's just do that. Have a line, and then we're going to have sort of a top of the line. And let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, I'm going to just sort of put little bannery things here just to indicate that it's a stage. And let's see right here. We're gonna have the lightning. So let's just drop the lightning in right now. Lightning is kind of white, isn't it? So let's just, but I've got a white background. It is dark. Okay, I'm gonna play around here. Set my background color. I want the background color to be dark. Ooh, I like that. Okay, and now I'm going to go to my layer one again. And I've got my color white. And we're just gonna have the jagged lightning bolt. It's quite bright. Just make my pen a little bit bigger. Not really all that jagged, but that's okay. It's just kind of giving the idea. Now, I've never used the dark background before, so this is a first for me. So what the heck? Okay, and let's kind of indicate that it's doing that. Here we go. So it's shining off. Okay, now we're going to have concert goers. And what do we want to do with the concert goers? We're going to have some heads. So let's just have a bunch of, heads. Just kind of just backs of heads. I'm just going to have heads, heads, heads. And some shoulders. And this is not one of my better illustrations, and really that's saying something because my illustrations never take a lot of pride in them. I just want to kind of get an idea across. Let's see now here. So we've got some heads, we've got the lightning, we've got, let's see now here, that's a couple of instruments. Now we're going to have maybe like a guitar kind of thing. No, that's way too big. Let's just have a guitar type of thing, and so it's going to have a stand, and we'll have some sort of rhythm section type of thing, not drums, because that's just not going to work. But we've got like blocks that people can sometimes they play on them and whatnot. One Eskimo is they're a band that they've got these rhythm blocks that they use. So we've got that. We'll have another guitar just to sort of add a little bit of symmetry to this whole thing. Again, this is really not supposed to be anything all that impressive, but it is supposed to indicate that the stage is, aside from some basic music equipment, it is empty. It has been evacuated. There. I think that does a decent job of telling our little story in visual form. So that is what I'm going to go with for that. So, okay, now I'm going to come back to here. Good. Nice little warm up. And so let's just take a minute to breathe. Maybe one more time. So breathe with me. Breathe in and hold it and breathe out. There we go. A little bit of shake. Maybe hug your elbows. Just stretch. Okay. Good. All right. Now we move on to passive voice. And again, I don't want this to be too much of English class kind of a thing. We're not going to cover it in depth. I really just want to kind of get the idea across as to what it is and why might we use it. So let me just share the screen. I've got some notes that are up. Here we go. Passive voice, what is it? It's a grammar structure which focuses on an action being done rather on the subject that's doing it. So as a quick example, we can have in active voice, and active voice is the voice that we use most of the time. Like if we're telling the events of a day, we'll use active voice. I went to work. That's active voice. Or in this case, we're using the example, Sam paid the bill. Okay, so what makes it active? Okay, well, sir, first off, we have the person, place, or thing, the noun. It's the subject of the sentence, and in this case, we're choosing Sam. What did Sam do? Sam paid. So here's our verb. What did Sam do? He paid. What did he pay? He paid the bill. So subject, verb, and then the object that is acted on. Okay, active voice. And this focuses, as this says, on a specific subject, right? So that we're focusing on Sam. Sam paid the bill. What we've done right now is kind of put a little bit of a spotlight on Sam. Sam paid the bill. We're less interested in him paying the bill, and we're more interested in Sam having done it. If we wanted to change the focus a little bit, make it more indefinite, we could say, well, someone paid the bill. Don't know who, but we're still going to focus on the fact that someone paid the bill. We might be interested now in figuring out who that was. We might be trying to figure out, did they really do it? Because we don't know who it was. And are they trustworthy? Are they not? How did it happen? I'm a little bit confused. Why did somebody pay the bill? But it's still active voice because we're spotlighting someone. Now, if we go into passive voice, now we focus on the bill being paid. And here we go. The bill, so we've got the object, was paid. The bill was paid. Who by? We're not really focused on that right now. It's just the action of the bill being paid that is the thing. So if someone says, hey, Sam paid or someone paid the bill. Who paid the bill? I don't know. I don't care. The bill was paid. That's it. Don't care. The bill was paid. We can go. Now, if you want to include Sam into the passive voice response, we could say the bill, so the object, was paid, there's the verb, by Sam. Okay, now we've identified it. But again, Sam's taken a backseat to the fact that the bill was paid. And lastly, we can look at it. The bill was paid by someone, right? So we can just say, hey, we don't really know. It's open. The really important part, the bill was paid. Don't care beyond that. The bill was paid by someone. Can we go now? Okay. And if you're starting to get an idea as to why it is we use passive voice, you're starting to get to it, right? It's changing the energy, it's changing the focus, it's changing who we are interested in and what we're interested in when we're writing a sentence. Okay, so why do we use it? We're focusing attention on the action rather than who did the action. And that can add mystery, it can add suspense, it can add denial. So let's just investigate a couple quick examples here. So if you have a detective novel and so you investigator comes in and they say, hey, someone emptied the vault. Okay, they are focused on someone. Someone emptied the vault. Now that's active voice, highlighting someone. If we're in passive voice, the vault was emptied. The vault was empty, we could stop there. Or if we want to really show that we just don't know, who it was. The vault was emptied by someone. Okay. Now, in this case, how does the investigator know it was a specific someone? Might have been a team of people, might have been a robot, might have been aliens. We don't know. So it's maybe even more accurate that instead of saying someone emptied the vault, to instead start with the vault was emptied by someone, because that's actually what is being seen. The vault is emptied by someone. There ain't nothing in the vault. It was emptied. Who by? Well, we're not sure. Okay. We can have denial. So you go to the bank manager. Bank manager, did you empty the vault? The bank manager can come back and say, I didn't empty the vault. Active voice. I, spotlighting himself, I did not empty the vault. And that, so if you have a conversation and you're writing it down, detective says, bank manager, did you empty the vault? I didn't empty the vault. How do we know? Come down to the station right now, mister. Right? So you've sort of spotlit yourself with your denial. I didn't empty the vault. Or maybe you know who did, but I didn't do it, but Bob did. I know it was Bob. So if you want to deny and get yourself out of the spotlight, well, hey, the vault was not emptied by me. The vault was not emptied by me. Do you feel that? I mean, just speaking it out loud, it really has a different energy. I didn't empty the vault. Angry, defensive. This really diffuses a situation. The vault was not emptied by me. Oh, copper. The vault was not emptied by me. Okay. Let's add a little bit, or let's investigate another reason for having passive voice. You can add a little bit of suspense. So that the vault had been emptied was not in doubt. Okay, passive voice, we have had been, or had been emptied. That the vault had been emptied was not in doubt. What was needed was an experienced detective. And what was needed? Also, passive voice. Okay. And now we've talked about this in a prior example, but we'll just bring it up again real quick. Tempered emotion. If you go to work and you have brought your lunch and it's in the refrigerator and Bob steals your sandwich, Bob stole my sandwich. What's the feeling? Well, I'm pretty angry at Bob right now. What else has Bob done? Oh, well, you know that guy Bob. Okay, Bob stole my sandwich. We're angry at Bob. Less concerned about the sandwich, less concerned that we're hungry. We're more concerned about Bob stole. What if we don't know who it was that stole it? Okay, so someone stole my sandwich. It's indefinite. Someone stole it. I'm interested in finding out who it was. Was it Bob? Was it somebody else? And again, sandwich kind of gets second place on this. I don't really care quite so much. I'm focused on someone stole my sandwich. Now, if I'm more concerned about my sandwich being stolen, I rephrase into passive voice. My sandwich was stolen. Bob stole my sandwich is pretty angry and angry at Bob. Someone stole my sandwich is pretty angry and angry at someone. I'm going to find out who. My sandwich was stolen? That's pretty sad. My sandwich was stolen. I'm hungry. I can't eat. I have to go buy something now. I have to take time. It's horrible, right? It's defeatist, not defeatist, but it is very depressing. Trying to talk. So anyways, my sandwich was stolen. My sandwich was stolen by someone. Someone must know who stole my sandwich, but I'm hungry. It would be nice if they replaced it. But I'm still focused on my sandwich was stolen. My sandwich was stolen by Bob. Well, there's futility in a nutshell right there. My sandwich was stolen by Bob. I can't do anything about it. My sandwich was stolen. What am I supposed to do? Right? It's a very different energy. My sandwich was stolen by Bob than Bob stole my sandwich. Just, say it out loud to yourself. Pause here for a second. Say it out loud to yourself. Hear the change, right? And so when you write it, as writers, when you write it, you want your readers to experience that change in feel, that change in energy. You want to, it's a way that you can express emotion without actually having to put a whole bunch of more words in saying how this person whose sandwich was stolen, how they're feeling, because you're already kind of putting it in. Okay. So I have underlined before all these uses of passive voice. So there is a specific construction to make passive voice. So you use the appropriate form of the verb to be, and examples are am, are, is, was, were, will, or will be, and then you use the past participle of your verb. So this is just some quick examples here so you can see it. So the cake is being baked. Okay, so is being is a form of to be. The cake is baked. The cake will be baked. The cake was baked. Okay, these are all forms of to be. Okay, these are all passive voice. And okay, I think we have all of the examples. So I'm just going to read through a example story real quick. And this is coming back to the detective story that I sort of allude to in the example before. So the vault had been emptied. It could not be doubted. The mansion was searched for clues, but nothing was found. Through my mind, theories on how the crime was committed were being flowed when, so in this whole piece here, it takes a little bit because I haven't actually said who is doing the narrating, who's doing the thinking, who's doing all of this stuff. It's going to take a couple sentences before we say, oh, this is a police officer, this is a detective, this is somebody who's on the scene who's doing this, right? So this is a way to disguise. If you want things to be a little bit foggy as in terms of who's doing what, this is a way to do it. And it's not always the case where you want it to be like the detective thought the vault has been emptied. There was no doubt. I had searched for clues and found nothing. What if we don't want that angry energy? What if we don't want the detective to be sharp and on the ball? What if we don't want that? What if we want things to be much softer? We can have it in this passive. Okay, so then we come down to, it must have been committed by an insider, an inside job. Okay, this comes from outside. We know that from the quotes. And now we're going to speak out loud. Our person. Hey, rookie, here's an idea. The crime scene won't be secured by itself, passive voice, and coffee won't be brought here on its own. All that will be taken care of by you. Now. Okay, so we've got all that. Most of this isn't, first off, most of it is in passive voice. There's a couple places where I have taken liberties to not, like an inside job. But most of this is in passive voice, and most of it flows, and it gives a certain energy and a certain feeling, and it really keeps it nice and cool. One of the realizations I had as I was preparing for this class is that active voice for like a visual artist, when you use active voice, it's sort of like painting in warm colors. They're a little more vibrant. They are a little bit more of a, hey, pay attention to me kind of a thing. Whereas passive voice is a little bit cooler colors. And so like they're a little bit more, receded, use them in the shadows. They are a little bit more amorphous. And so in your writing, you can do that same type of thing. So if you're a visual artist and you're getting into writing, this is just something to consider. Like if you want something that is the literary equivalent to a cool color, consider using passive voice. Okay, so with that done, now what I would like to do is to, okay, first off, I'm just gonna wheel up to here. So I'm gonna encourage you to grab a quick look at this that I've got on the screen, and I'm going to bring up an image in just a second. And it involves a figure in an alley, a bicycle, and we're going to be doing a couple of exercises to demonstrate, again, the energy change and where things can go. And I'm just going to do it out loud here and then encourage you to do it on your own, maybe using your own photo or a different, you can choose whatever you'd like. So actually, since I've been talking, that's been on the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the screen share to my photo. Okay. So here is this photo that those sentences relate to. So as you can see, there's the bicycle, there's the figure in the distance. There's lots of Japanese, and so I have that maybe, and it's a male figure that's up there. So how about we just name him Kenji? Why not? It's a common Japanese name. So we can start an exercise using active voice, using an active prompt. And if you scroll back a little bit, you will see that the active sentence the active sentence prompt is Kenji blank the bike. And then we can continue to say in the alley. So some suggested verbs to put an action to what is going on here. We can make it sort of very general. We can have Kenji put the bike in the alley. Doesn't really tell us much except that Kenji put it there, or he left it there. That tells us a little something. Maybe he's not coming back for it. He parked it. Pretty definitely coming back for it. Probably his. Placed it. You're not quite sure what would go there. Maybe sounds a little nefarious, but we'll see. Abandoned. Well, there's a word with some meaning. He's never coming back to it, and we might be interested in finding out why. Dumped, and there's another word which is even, kind of getting rid of it, and just does not want it ever again. Returned it. There's a word. Kenji returned the bike. Oh, he took it before, and he's returned it back to where he found it. And in fact, I kind of like that one. So let's go with that. I'm going to keep the picture up. Actually, no, I'm going to encourage you, grab a screen share here. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to come back to me. So I will stop sharing. Okay. Okay, so we've got what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my writing process. So let me just get my keyboard set up. It just takes a second to do so. Come down to a new page. There we go. Okay. We'll get that out of the way. And let's share my screen. And waiting for it. Here we go. Okay. Kenji returned. Nice. Returned the bike. And I said that there was an option. I put it in parentheses, in the alley. Returned the bike. I'm gonna leave that off. I'm gonna leave that off. Okay, let's just move that. Ah, Jenny. No, not Jenny. It's Kenji. I want Kenji, and gosh darn it, it's going to be Kenji. Kenji returned the bike. Oops, I forgot I'm on the iPad now. Go away. Keep getting these warning alerts. Okay, Kenji returned the bike. He half hoped someone would see him do it. And half hoped, let's put a hyphen on that. Someone actually had, let's get the would out of there. Someone had seen him do it. Okay, so why would he have taken the bike? And again, this is active. We're really focused on him. Okay, so he'd been in dire straits the night before, because it's daytime-ish. You can see light. He'd been in dire straits the night before, needing to get to his parents' house right away. Needing his parents right away. Let's throw a hyphen in there. The panicked phone call. Phone call from his mom about his father having a heart attack. About his father having a heart attack spurred him to grab the closest transport available. Grab the closest transport available. As he walked away from the bike, he gave thanks. It had been there in the first place. You guys said it had been there, and yeah. And we'll just leave it there. He gave thanks that it had been there in the first place. Short little example. Okay, so Kenji returned the bike. He half hoped someone had seen him do it. He'd been in dire straits the night before, needing to get to his parents' house right away. The panicked phone call from his mom about his father having a heart attack spurred him to grab the closest transport available. As we walked away from the bike, good Lord. As he walked away from the bike, he gave thanks it had been there in the first place. Okay, so that is an energy, a direction, a story that we could possibly have with our active voice. Okay, so now I'm just going to put a little divider in here. Boom, 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 boom. Now let's try it in passive voice. Now, again, if you look back, you're going to see that our passive voice prompt, it says exactly the same thing, just in passive. The bike was returned. Bike was returned. And I didn't include in the alley before. The bike was returned. I'm just going to leave it there. It's a little bit truncated, but it's passive voice. But I think it's a nice showcase between active and the exact same sentence in passive that we've just flip-flopped. Actually, it's not exact because I didn't put in those kanji. There we go. The bike was returned by Kenji. Okay, so now we're focused on the bike being returned. Less focused on Kenji. So where might this story go? The bike was returned by Kenji. And we are going to focus real quick on him again, but he made sure to place it back exactly where he had found it. Okay. Made sure to place it back exactly where he had found it. With the bike safely returned, Kenji could breathe a sigh, a sigh of relief. That no one, let's see here. Let's see if we can get another passive voice sentence in here, because it feels like we can pull things back again. That no one had raised an alarm, that an alarm had not been raised, that an alarm had not been raised when he had taken the bike the other night. That an alarm had not been raised when he had taken the bike the other night meant he had been able to be with his mother as the paramedics arrived for his father. Okay, with the bike safely returned, Kenji could breathe a sigh of relief. That an alarm had not been raised when he had taken the bike the other night meant he had been able to be with his mother as the paramedics arrived for his father. The bicycle had made it all possible. A sigh of relief. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put this one into active. Escaped from him. This is active, but as you can see, I've made it a little bit wordy to try and make it feel a little more passive. A sigh of relief escaped from him. That the entire ordeal was over and he could focus on helping his family. There. I think that's a good place to sort of close this off. So we've basically written even kind of the same story-ish. So let's just sort of look at this one. The bike was returned by Kenji. He made sure to place it back exactly where he had found it. Excuse me. With the bike safely returned, Kenji could breathe a sigh of relief. That an alarm had not been raised when he had taken the bike the other night meant he had been able to be with his mother as the paramedics arrived for his father. The bicycle had made it all possible. The sigh of relief escaped from him that the entire ordeal was over and he could now focus on helping his family. We'll just could now focus on helping his family. And so I just want to call attention again to the change in the energy, to the change in the feel. In the first example, where it's active, he's returned the bike. We're talking about Kenji. We're talking about the action that's all happening. And the bike is really playing second fiddle to all of that. It's Kenji who thanks the bike for having been there. It's Kenji who has, Kenji is feeling, Kenji is doing, Kenji. Whereas when we went into passive and we're taking the focus off of Kenji, Kenji's in here, but the bike is in here, his family is in here, and it's all just kind of mixed. There is, take some time with it, feel the difference. And this is the essence of the lesson, right? Of trying to, as a writer, to convey a feeling to your reader. And the feeling here in passive, much different than what was in active. And this is gold, right? So you don't have to use words to, extra words to say how Kenji was feeling or how the owner was feeling or anything. It's just like you've cooled off the emotion. We still have all the same information about the family emergency and all that stuff, but there's a very different tone to it. And that's really the essence of what I'm trying to get across between the active voice and the passive voice. Okay, and with that, I am going to stop sharing the screen, and we're going to come back here. Great. Okay, that was a good lesson on passive voice. Okay, so I'm going to take a second here, just sort of to clear my mind off of working passive voice. So we're going to breathe in and out. A little bit of a stretch. Stretch. Okay. Good. Now, I think at this point, I would like to do a little bit of a closing exercise and just something nice and almost like when you're eating dinner, right? You've gotten through the thick main course. Let us have a little bit of a dessert item just to play with. And I found out mid-April that April is a poetry month, and so I went and investigated it. And so here we are, May the 4th, and bringing up poetry, but that's okay because poetry really should be enjoyed year round. Creative writing should be enjoyed year round. I mean, why not? So April is not just simply for poetry. Okay, so the kind of poetry that I want to play with today, and I'm not going to do a screen share. I'm just going to just do it out loud here, and I'm going to encourage you to do it because this is sort of a little bit of like a game, a little bit of a word game, a little bit of a mood game, and this is called a color poem. So we get to pick a color, and let's come up with like 5 different sentences, 5 different things that we can associate to or feel about purple. And so let's just think about purple real quick. So purple. So purple is the color of emperors. That's 1. Purple is my favorite color. That's 2. Purple is the color that you don't normally think about in shadows. 3. Purple was the color at my wedding. 4, and a happy one. And 5, purple. Ooh, can I come up with 5? I must be able to. Purple is the color of a flower. Let's sit with that. Purple. You can do this with any color. And if you just want to stick with your primaries, great. If you want to get more complicated, crimson, or argent, you can do that too. Doesn't matter. Anyways, I hope that you can use this color poem. Maybe when you're in line, you catch the color of like, a blue, and you're just like, blue is the color of, and you can just sort of work your way through 5 statements. Maybe even make you a little bit more mindful about like where you're experiencing right now. Yeah. Okay. So let's sort of recap what we did for today. So the first thing we did is we did our warm-up exercise with our seed word germination, and we wrote a story and we illustrated it. Then we talked about passive voice, the whys, the hows, and then we did a color poem. And I think that's pretty awesome, intense hour plus for this particular lesson. So with that, I am going to close things. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. And if you ever feel like you want to reach out and send me a line, let me know what you're doing writing wise. You want to learn something, you want clarity on something, you want anything, let me know. info@drawingXpressions.com is our main mailbox, and we will see it, and then we can respond to it. So again, thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.